don't have to do this. No one is going to make you do this. Hey, I'm Lax, and it's time for another one. That was the sound of my soul being squeezed out of me, and I swear to God this will be my last Beat Them All Up Again TM video. Maybe. I mean, who knows what the newly announced Gen 10 games will bring? Probably water? Lots of water. Nobody tell IGN. I said at the end of part 1 that I would try the DLCs. This is that, and I am so sorry. Let's get started with a chronologicalized approach. Technically, you can tackle the first DLC right out of the Academy tutorial, and I kinda accidentally on purpose did that for Pucciana on my first team. Turns out the first time you visit Kitakami, one of the kids gets diagnosed with chronically ugly, and we're tasked with having to figure that out. You can't fast travel or even set up a picnic table to try and easily shiny hunt until he's handsome again. So, this first Carmine battle is done at level 10-ish, without an amulet coin. But at least I got that sweet shiny Pucciana. Besides the first battle with Carmine, the entirety of the rest of this video will be at the post-game level with the amulet coin, and with a drastically different team than last time too. Speaking of Carmine, her and her brother Kieran, that guy, are both battled right at the beginning of this DLC, and we go from level 10s on Carmine's team to level 60s on Kieran's. Also to mention, these two alone take up about 1/7 of the total money-giving battles of the entire DLC. That's a crazy amount. Nimona didn't even hit 2% of the Paldean battles. All that is to say is that I'm going to be skipping the fluff battles with Kieran and just showing the first and final ones of the DLC. Spoiler alert, he loses all of them anyways. Before completing the last quest of the base game, Carmine's Pokemon are all level 12 and 13, Pucciana, Vulpix, and new to the DLC, Poltergeist. Kieran's battle happened about 90 hours of in-game time later and several weeks in the real world. But you're not gonna have to sit through any of that. Though they're also unevolved, Sentret and Yanma are level 59 and 60. Guess standing around in the parking lot for 6 weeks was a great workout for Kieran. Right after we are introduced to Carmine and Kieran, we get homework to do while we're not even in class, to take pictures around the area. Kieran gets progressively less sad, and then way crazy sad, and then crazy angry and crazy. We'll deal with him a little more later. For now, this is Perrin. Perrin is a photographer, and is the only character in the game series to have that trainer class. Ha! Fuck you, this guy! She has a battle and a bear for us, huh? But not until we register 150 Pokemon for the Kitakami Dex. We're gonna hold off on getting that done immediately just due to the sheer time sink that is. Also, great news to mention, the Golden Boys from Paldea? Huge in fighting, very sad, merch sales way down. Goldango and Sandy Whatevers were the only ones to reconcile their differences long enough to try and form another band. Fool's Gold, but gold is like Goldango, right? Yeah. Anyways, this band's gonna need some new members. Starting off strong, I found a Noctowl that my lady told me was more of a baby Dookie Green. Alright, thanks for that. Guess we're leaving that one in a box. A Chimecho named Wimdy, and a Magikarp that I found the brother of in Legends ZA, literally 5 minutes before I started hunting the one in SV. His name is Earl. Earl's great. And finally, for now, a Nosepass named Santa Schnoz. Get it? Because he always knows the way north? Nosepass always points north. You know what? It's fine. We're moving on. Another honorable mention is Miss You Are Poor and You Are Wrong for Being So, the Onaires. I think it's just Miss Onair and her manservant. They're going to take us on a world tour of Kitakami and Paldea. Each interaction with them teaches them a little bit more about the daily lives of the commoner in Microcosm. Eventually battling us a first, second, and a third time, the last time with an Arboliva and every time with a Persian. And also every time while being pretty shitty to my chronologically broke folk self. What's that? Miss Onair gives me how much money? Oh, she need another manservant? I mean, fuck, dude, I can get stepped on for $40 an hour. Yeah, no problem. Moving right along, there also exist in the DLCs the BLTs of yesteryear. Black Label trainers, coined by yours truly, are higher-leveled trainers with more difficult teams than the average Joes. Now, in the previous video, I detailed every individual BLT's trainers, but Kitakami quite plainly lacks enough trainers for me to need the filler time to talk about every single one. So, I'll just mention that there are 8 total, 7 of which are somewhat hidden. Oh, that's a space between the words some and what, are somewhat hidden and scattered throughout the region. And one final dust-up with a guy named Murumasa, who is in charge of the rest of them. See, all of them are members of the Kitakami Ogre Clan, or Cock for short. Oh, huh. Yeah, probably not a good idea to just flash Cock on the screen every time I battle one now that I think about it. Anyways, Murumasa, being the self-named Master of Cock, has a pretty stellar team of all Ghost and Dark types. Gengar with a Focus Sash, Crawdaunt, Trevenant, Dusclops with an Eviolite, and King Gambit with a Choppleberry. The Cock, it turns out, is very lucrative, giving us a total of 115,176 Pokédollars for all of their fights. And all of this. A final fight with Kieran, in which he is extremely emotionally stable, is going to cap off our main quest in Kitakami. Also, to be totally real with you, I kind of feel like Kieran's crash out is a little bit valid. So, like, his whole childhood hero is Ogerpon. Great, cool. We ghost his ass for his sister, and although we have no real choice in the matter, we lie to him several times about Ogerpon. And then we straight up swipe Ogerpon away from him, even though I don't want it at all. And Pokemon trading has been a thing in-universe since 1998. We could just trade it back to him. Pokemon do not have their own agency in this game. It would have to listen to him. Anyways, Angst Incarnate has a pretty stacked team, and I had a few struggles with it considering we swapped most of our team out for a new one. A Fuck, I literally practiced this word before I started recording. Shiftry, holding a Focus Sash, Yanmega with a Keyberry, new with this DLC Diplin holding Leftovers, Probopass, very handsome I might add, with a Pitaya Berry, Poliwrath with a Citrus Berry, and finally, Glycor with a Yachi Berry. Carmine also approaches you, Dio style, one final time for the DLC at the Loyalty Crap Heap. Oh, I mean Loyalty Plaza. Don't look at the ruins, they're just aesthetic boulders. She says something like, "Damn, that was wild," and "Can't believe my brother is such a fucking nerd, lol," or whatever. I wasn't really paying attention at this point, but it's the thought that counts. She requests a battle with you with Ogerpon in your party. You don't technically have to use it at all, and actually, if Ogerpon isn't in your party and is also not in your PC, she'll battle you anyways. Her team is weird, with her Poochyena, Vulpix, and Poltergeist now evolved to a Mightyena, Ninetales, and Sinistra, holding an Akaberry, whatever the fuck that is. She adds a Leavanny and a Morpeko, holding a Focus Sash. At some point during your adventures, she adds this to her team, and this is like the 7th battle she has with us, alongside us or otherwise, but only the 3rd that actually gives us money or is actually against us. So, yeah, a lot of weird stuff going on here. That will round out the Teal Mask nicely. All in all, we earned... Oh my god, I forgot about Perrin. Yeah, so Perrin we talked to about a year ago, and she asked us to catch... No, not catch, register 150 Pokemon in the Pokedex. So basically, fill out all of the Gen 1 Pokedex all over again. I felt the best way to work on this was to passively throughout the rest of the battles and quests of Kitakami region. So, what do we get when we finish all of that homework? Well, it's more homework, of course. We pitch a tent in the dark, foggy woods late at night and find a huge-ass murder bear. We beat the murder bear and are finally granted our prize. A final, incredibly underwhelming battle with Perrin as well, with a Noctowl and a Leafeon. Okay, like, I'm pretty sure that's everything. Maybe. DLC 1 has two modes, obviously, with post-game completion giving harder battles, yada yada yada, and more money, yes, Besides Carmine number 1 giving us 728 Pokédollars, all other battles were done post-game with an amulet coin. So, between regular trainers, Kieran and Carmine, and the oh-so-generous Onairs, all the cock running around, and yes, Perrin as well, we are earning a cool 1,335,672 Pokédollars. Seems like kind of a lot for so few trainers, no? Well, I sold all the stuff the Onairs gifted me and included that in the tally for emotional damage. I then promptly spent $1 million on some new clothes and rebuilt the shit plaza. A sound financial decision. Moving on over, we could technically start DLC 2, the Indigo Disc, before completing DLC 1, which is a choice for progression for sure. I love the idea that a person can finish the main game tutorial, immediately fuck off to Kitakami, this kid gets sick for a while, you meet his sister, ignore him for like 3 weeks, come back, get assigned him as your partner to take pictures, and immediately fuck off to his school where you stomp him mercilessly into the ground. Yeah, okay, I could see why he's got some issues. Kinda seeming like abandonment issues that we may partially be responsible for in some very small, unintentional way. Speaking of Kieran and Carmine's school, DLC 2, the Indigo Disc, takes place exactly there. We're kinda kidnapped by a handsome older gentleman who's like 8 feet tall standing next to Clavel, where we're introduced to, Lacey, yeah, that's it, who apparently is the daughter of this guy. How old are you? Do you know who this guy is? Who's that dad? We battle her once and are allowed into the school proper after a few too many cutscenes for my particular taste. My particular taste is 0. There is an option in the menu to disable cutscenes. 0 is what disable should mean. It does not mean that. Kieran is back and figured out how to hair max. He champions the Elite Four of this school, kind of just like the 5 kids here decided to Elite Four themselves and everyone just kind of went with it. I mean, it's fine. Plenty of tough battles, all of which are double battles. So, like, the main point of this DLC is to beat the semi-Elite Four and then champion it out all over the Academy. Before we do that, however, the last slot on my roster is just yearning for one more little guy. And just who would make such a nice filling for that golden spot? This little guy right here, of course. Nope, that's the wrong clip. This guy, gal, Top Shelf, the Alolan Exeggutor, joins the team. Sliding over to the meat and potatoes of the terrarium, each Elite Four member has their own small challenge before you can battle them. Crispin is the newest and lore-wise weakest member of the League Club, and the game deposits you in the Savannah biome first, so I usually start with him. Crispin uses Fire-type moves. Could you fucking tell? Oh, you could? Well, good. I'm glad. Man is literally sauteing his Pokeballs in his frying pan before throwing them out into battle. Speaking of the battle, we're up against a double battle of 6 fire types. Kinda. Starting with the Oven Mode Rotom with a Rocky Helmet and a Focus-sashed Talonflame, and I am just now realizing that their Pokemon are also EV trained. Thanks, Bulbapedia. That's kinda cool. Crispin also has the very paragon of fire types, Exeggutor holding a Citrus Berry, Camerupt with an Expert Belt, Magmortar with a Pachot Berry, and a Blaziken with an Assault Vest that he will Terra into the big fire type. And although we get Top Shelf, Earl, and Wimdy KO'd, we managed to beat Crispin on our very first try. Lacey is second up of the Elite Four, and it's difficult to tell what type she prefers up to this point, because she is very tonally muted. Her dad is a ground-type user, her first battle had 2 electric types and a ground steel, which is wild until you realize it's her dad's ace. Did you guess right? It's Clay. That's right, folks. Turns out Lacey's particular preferred typing is Fairy, made evident by her team of 4 Fairy Fairies and 1 Fairy on the inside, and this thing. Her team is comprised of Whimsicott holding a Focus Sash, Grand Bull with an Expert Belt, Primarina with Throat Spray, a Galarian version of Slosive Brosive with a Citrus Berry, and an Alcremie that holds Leftovers. Oh, and Dad's Dirt Rat with an Assault Vest that she'll Terra into the Fairy type. Gholdengo actually gets KO'd in this fight, as well as Schnoz, but that's 2 of the Elite Four down, and if my math is correct, there's only 2 left, Amorous and Drayton. Amorous is also the person that feeds the "you can fly now" drugs to our bike. We're big fans of Amorous. Also, she's possibly amorous of Kieran, at least it's pretty slightly implied, and that is literally all the internet needs to go off the rails with fan theories, fictions, and shipping. Jesus Christ, get it together. Amorous is very much the Steel-type trainer and wants you to know that she is specifically on time for our battle. She's got a stainless steel team of hard, durable dudettes and Leroy. Leroy ain't Steel-type, but is real ready to be here. Starting with Skarmory and Alolan Dugtrio, with a Rocky Helmet and a Focus Sash respectively. She also has a Scizor with an Aqua Berry. I never remember the weird berries, but a shot in the dark is that it's the berry that nullifies fire damage. Ha! Knew it. She also rocks a Reuniclus with Leftovers, Empoleon holding Mystic Water, and finally the Steven Special, an Expert Belt-toting Metagross that she'll Terra into the Mono Steel type. Not an overly difficult battle, though we did lose Probonose, damn that would have been such a better name, to a couple of 4x effective body presses, and Top Shelf to a single Ice Beam. Look man, you gotta crack a few Pokemon to something eggs. Drayton, my spirit animal, is the last of the Elite Four, and if my math is right, that's all 6 members, provided we can take him down. He likes to use the dragons... why did I say it like that? And he's the only Elite Four member that pays for our entrance fee. He offers a challenge in the form of Battle, LOL, but insists we only use Pokemon caught by us in the terrarium. Now, if that sounds annoying, it's because it is, but don't you worry, that's a small drop in the bucket of what this area has saved for us. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. The night is young. Apparently, he's also the grandson of Drayden. And you know, you'd think with as much time as I've played this game and this series, I'd have put those two together. Drayonaze's team comp, as previously stated, read the memo, is Dragons. And finally, an Elite Four member that actually uses what he says he uses. Wait, what the fuck? Alright, never mind. Starting with his Dragonite and Flygon, each holding a Yache Berry and Life Orb respectively, Drayden also uses a Haxorus with a Focus Sash and Sceptile. An extremely Dragon-type dragon. I mean, I guess its Mega is Dragon-type, but he can't access Megas down here in the terrarium. Or up there in the not terrarium. Or anywhere in the game. Also, Sceptile is holding a weakness policy? My brother in Christ, what the hell is that? Oh, well that's interesting, and an obvious bait. Well, obvious now that I know what it is, because I read about it. The last two up are a Kingdra holding the Expert Belt, and an Archaludon, yes, that's how it's said, holding an Assault Vest, which will be Terra'd to the... any guesses? Dragon-type, that's right. We lost Top Shelf and eventually Sandy Shocks, but with the excellent maneuvering of Earl, we're able to defeat Drayden as well, finalizing the Elite 16. After defeating Drayden, we are ambushed by none other than DJ Problematic Outbursts. In a heartwarming reunion, he tells us, "You're too slow!" And off we go to set up a champ level match at the school entrance battle court. The final, TM, battle with Kieran is pretty rough. Double battle, of course, he has a pretty well-rounded team. Starting this champion battle off with his Dragonite holding a Black Belt and a Politoed holding a Wakan Berry. Also rocking a Porygon Z and a Grimmsnarl, each holding a Life Orb and Focus Sash respectively. And rounding off with an Incineroar with a Citrus Berry and a Hydrapple with an Assault Vest. That'll get Terra'd to the fighting type. Interestingly enough, and this is just speculation here, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, every one of Kieran's Pokemon has been swapped since we last fought him at the end of the Kitakami DLC, when we see him vow to beat us up. The only one that could theoretically still be from that time would be Hydrapple, having evolved from Dipplin. It's thematical that he would shun his entire team as he viewed them as the reason he was weak, replacing every single one with a stronger Pokemon. But he couldn't abandon his Dipplin. Why? Because he got that Dipplin as an Applin from his father, who we don't get to meet. You see, Kieran's dad was a taxidermist by night and a Pokemon house painter by day. Did he paint Pokemon houses? Did he paint houses with Pokemon? Was his dad actually just a Pokemon who knew how to paint? That's more plausible than you may think. He never had much time to be at home. And then one day, he never came back. Taken in by his grandfather and the smoke show of a grandmother he has, to tend to the local orchards. Kieran was gifted an Applin, his first ever Pokemon. He was unable to abandon this Dipplin, as it's been with him since he was 12, like almost 3 weeks ago, probably. How much of that was true, you may ask? None of it, or maybe all of it. That's the price of whimsy. Speaking of the price of whimsy, Kieran manages to KO everybody on my team except Wimdy and Goldango. Yeah, even Earl. Goodbye, Earl. Earl had to die. There's a whole lot of general butt-hurtedness, and then we fight a turtle thing. Yeah, that thing. It doesn't have any money to give us, so it can fuck right off. And we round off the main story of DLC number 2, the Indigo Disc. From the first fight with Lacey at the school entrance, the BBLC, who are the BLTs of this DLC, a lot of alphabet today, all the regular trainers, the Elite Tendo 64, and finally Kieran number 6. Yeah, 6. We managed to make another 919,568 Poke Dollars. All that for the low price of $34.99 USD. But wait, there's more. Call right now and we'll throw in random post-game bullshit, absolutely free, besides $34.99. Yeah, that's right, beat the main story of the DLC and catching Terapagos allows the player to tackle club room rematches. We can call unique trainers we have interacted with throughout the entire game to the League Club Room for a few things. They can interact with other NPCs to show unique dialogue between them. We can learn more about them. We can be gifted items and trade a unique Pokemon with them. But most importantly, we can battle them. Who can we bring in starts off very modestly with just the folks that would already be here. The Elite 3 and Crispin. Crispin got kicked off of the Elite 4 since we're now the champion and Kieran got bumped back down. Sorry, Crispin. Starting off with the 3 that are in the room with us, Lacey, Drayton, and Amorous. We'll tackle Crispin later, but only 3 of the 4 spawn per day. Lacey keeps her pseudo-mono fairy team much the same, keeping all her previous teammates of Whimsicott with a focus sash, Granbull with an expert belt, Primarina and Slowbro with throat spray and a citrus berry respectively, Alcremie with leftovers, and finally Fairy Terra Excadrill with its assault vest. The major difference in all of this, and all of the BB Elite 4 matches, is they have gained levels. Lacey's starters go from level 78 to 83, and her next 3 being Primarina, Slowbro, and Alcremie go from 79 to 84, and her ace goes from 80 to 85. Drayton's team follows the same shtick in that it doesn't change much from when we last fought him. I don't know, like 4 minutes ago or whatever. He starts with his Yachi Berry Dragonite and his Life Orb Flygon, has a Haxorus with Focus Sash, Sceptile with Weakness Policy, Kingdra with the Expert Belt, and finally his Dragon Terra Archaludon with an Assault Vest. Likewise, his starters go from 78 to 83, Haxorus, Sceptile, and Kingdra from 79 to 84, and his ace Archaludon from 80 to 85. Amorous, surprising no one, also has the same team she used in her Elite 4 trial, starting with her Rocky Helmet Skarmory and Focus Sash Smug Trio. She also has her Akaberry Scizor, Leftover Reuniclus, and Mystic Water Empoleon, leaving her ace Metagross with its Expert Belt, which will Terra to the Steel type. Like her predecessors, her starters are buffed from level 78 to 83, middle three being Scizor, Reuniclus, and Empoleon from 79 to 84, and Mr. Steel, your girl, get it, goes from 80 to 85. Crispin's actually interesting, though, because he's a little bit different than his other Elite Four members. Well, his previous other Elite Four members. His team comp stays the same, starting with his Microwave with a Rocky Helmet, Talonflame with a Focus Sash, also keeping his Exeggutor with a Citrus Berry, Expert Belt, Camerupt, and Peshot Berry Magmortar, and lastly his Blaziken with an Assault Vest that he'll Terra to the Fire type. No, the difference actually comes in the subtle nod to the in-game lore that he is the weakest of the Elite Four members, and it actually shows in his Pokemon levels. His starters go from level 77 to 82, Exeggutor, Camerupt, and Magmortar go from 78 to 83, and his ace Blaziken goes from 79 to 84. Hey, it ain't much, but I noticed it, and so too know how... So too, now have you. So there. That's it for the freebies. Every other trainer we have to invite will hit our pocketbooks to do so. And herein lies the most time-inclusive portion of the DLCs. And none of it is story-related. So, to invite a special coach, as they are referred to, you need to spend BBB. Blueberry Bucks, or League Credits, or whatever they are. You gain a small amount by doing various tasks around the terrarium. They could be as mundane as run 500 meters or pick up 10 items because we heard you like doing that, you filthy degen, to more complex stuff like catch a poison type or defeat a Terra Raid Pokemon. With my understanding of how numbers worked and my understanding of how many times I needed to invite these people to the school for a battle, I corroborated with myself, and I'd need around 4,000 BBLs. No, not those BBLs, BBLPs. Turns out I can't do math for shit, though. And then I decided to go back and get 10,000. And remember how I said I can't do math for shit? Yeah, 10,000 was way overshooting it, but after 20 hours of grinding the school book fair bugs, we are able to finally call Katie and get this mess a-going. Katie and all of the original Paldean trainers use the same Pokemon and battle the same way from the end of the first video, Gita told me to section. So that means, yeah, single battles all around, except for Rhyme. Woohoo! But for you, yes you, just for you, I'll go over their teams again. Katie has her Spidops, Heracross, Forretress, and Low-Kicks all now level 80. She newly adds an Araquanid, presumably from the terrarium, and still uses her ace Bug-type Terra Ursaring at level 81. Continuing in standard badge order, Brassius is up next with his industry standard team of Breloom, Arboliva, Sarina, Lilligant, and new to you, Vileplume, all level 80 now, as well as the best tree I've ever personally known, his ace Grass Terra type Sudowoodo at 81. Ayano's up next, and she really likes the terrarium, mentioning content creation a few times in her interactions. I like Ayano, head's in the right place. Life's worth nothing if it's not monetized. Thanks, Ayano, paragon of good ethics. Ayano's team of Kilowattrel, Electrode, Bellabolt, and Luxray are back with the recently acquired Electivire joining the fray, all level 80. Her ace, Electric type Miss Magius, is back as well, now being level 81. Kofu's team of Pelipper, Veluza, Wugtrio, and Clowitzer are back all at level 80 as well as the newly added Feraligatr, who's also level 80. His ace, Water Terra type Crabominable, is also now 81 and is still so handsome. Fun fact, Feraligatr was named so in Gen 2 because the game's text engine wouldn't allow for more than 10 characters per word. Once later gens allotted for longer letter strings, it was already cemented to be weird and just got stuck as Gator instead of Gator. Larry's team is the first one that's actually pretty different. His Oinkalone and Dunsparce are present at level 82 from his team he uses as a gym leader, while his Altaria, and previous ace Flamigo from his Elite Four battle are here as well, again at level 82. Newly added from the area is Cantonian Tauros, also level 82, and finally his Staraptor, which stars on every team he has, this time playing the role of his ace and with a normal Terra type. Whew, that was a mouthful. Alright, that's enough interesting stuff. Rhyme keeps her team of Banette, Mimikyu, Spiritomb, and Houndstone, and now also Golurk, all level 80. Her ace, Ghost Terra type Toxtricity, is also back at level 81. Margaret, Tina, Tulip, that's it. Man, I could not for the life of me remember such an unforgettable gym leader. Right up there with the greats like Bernardo, Chesterfield, and Image04.png. Tulip's team remains all wibbly-wobbly with her for Farigiraf, Gardevoir, Espathra, Gallade, and now Delphox, all at level 80. Her ace psychic type Florges is back, and I can't think of anything witty. Moving on, finally the final gym leader. Grushas, Frostmoth, Titan, Weavile, and Bart are all back at level 80. A new Alola Ninetales makes his way onto the team at level 80 as well. And finally, Grush's ace, the Ice Terra type Altaria, is back at level 81. Interestingly enough, every team follows the level scheme of 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 81, except for Larry for obvious double agent Elite Four reasons. And Katie's Araquanid, the only level 81 non-ace Pokemon. Interesting? Maybe not. But you fucking learned something, didn't you? The remaining members of the Elite Four are also here as well, but we're only gonna worry about the first two for now. Rika and Poppy. We've already beaten Larry, who was lumped in with the gym leaders, where he belongs, and Hassel is on the way. Rika needs you to trade 5 Pokemon with any trainers that can be called to the League Club Room, which happens when you talk to folks several times, battle them at least once, and if they're one of the special coaches, they will have to be called to the club room at least once. At least 3 times. Poppy requires this stipulation too, but the same 5 trades for Rika also work for Poppy, so it doubles for both. Let's get into it then. Rika's team is the same as it was from way back when we took her on in the Champion Assessment, or as we like to call it, the Elite Four, because we're adults and our lives are devoid of whimsy. Dugtrio, Whiscash, Camerupt, and Donphan, all level 82, and a recently added Torterra, also at level 82. Her ground Terra-type Clodsire makes its return as well. Poppy's team is more or less the same as her Elite battle was, rocking her Copperajah, Bronzong, Magnezone, and Corviknight at level 82, and I'm pretty sure the Bastiodon at level 82 is new. I could be wrong about that. I am being told I'm not wrong about that. Her ace is, of course, the Steel Terra-type Tinkaton. Larry and Hassel aren't members of the Elite Four, actually. You dreamed that. We all dreamed that. Larry is a gym leader, according to the Clubroom PC, and Hassel isn't even real. He'll be real later on, maybe, but right now, nah, we got the Elite 2 and Geeta. Speaking of Geeta, we can also battle her, but it requires us to complete 8 trades to do so. The previous 5 for Rika and Poppy still add into that, so an additional 3 trades is all we need. Geeta's team actually changes pretty significantly. She keeps her Espathra and Avalugg the same, but moves her Glamora to the top of her roster, all now level 84. She adopts 2 new Pokemon in Chestnut, replacing her Gogoat, and Dragapult, replacing her Veluza. Both of these new additions are also level 84. Her new ace is an old team member from the champion battle we had with her in the yesteryear of Paldea, a flying Terra-type King Gambit, and it is wildly more effective thanks to its ability, Supreme Overlord, giving it a 10% boost to its move's powers for each teammate that has fainted before it in this battle. After we've beaten those guys, we're met with an impossible task: forming meaningful bonds with others. Every teacher from the Academy, and thus the Academy Tournament, is available to be called up for coaching? I gotta be real, I have lost the plot at this point in the script. Each teach needs at least 3 trades to be completed within the league club room. That is not an issue at all. However, to befriend the teachers, you need to complete their subquests / interactions around the academy and take all of their classes. Or maybe that second part isn't super true. It could be I'm a dirty little liar. Jacques, whose personal quest requires 400 Pokemon to be registered in the Paldea Index, thankfully that isn't a requirement for calling him to the League Academy. Jacques' team has a couple of kind of significant changes. Lurantis and Loser Slowbro have been hot swapped for Victory Bell and Cool Guy Bro. Arcanine, Swalot, and Mudsdale are all also back and all at level 80. Jacques' ace, Psychic Terra-type Farigiraf, is back as well and now level 81. Miss Ryford is the history teacher, and Jacques was super easy, so let's go from 0 to 100. She wants us to catch 4 legendaries and show them to her. Those legendaries are the blah 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 of Ruin, and they each need 8 colorful stakes to be pulled out of the ground all over Paldea. What the fuck? After an hour of wandering around, I decided to use a map. 20 minutes later, I showed her some literal demons that annihilated a kingdom centuries ago, and she's like, "Alright, bet. Thanks, big dog." Anyways, she drops her Luminion, because literally who wouldn't, and replaces it with my good friend Malamar. The rest of her team is back, being Gengar-flavored Zoroark, Grumpig, Seviper, and Caesar at level 80, and her Ghost Terrid Zoroark-flavored Gengar, don't ask me how I know, at level 81. Time's the math teacher, who's another relatively easy one, albeit time-consuming. She wants you to complete all of the posted math courses and pass the exams. Beyond that, she has a bunch of conversations in which she's being stalked by an unseen person around the school. Time's team is dumb-sounding if you are just listening to the audio of this. She drops a Lycanroc for a Kleavor and drops another Lycanroc for a Lycanroc, bringing back her Dreadnought, Colossal, and Stonjourner, all at level 80. Also bringing back her Garganical, Terrid to the Rock type at 80. Well, look, man, it's late. I'm just trying to read. We're gonna get through this together. We're almost done. Salvatore, the language teacher, again needs you to complete all of his courses and his conversations, making him adopt a non-verbal Pokemon, which is an oddly poetic sentiment for the Pokemon franchise. Unfortunately for the incoming narrative, he does abandon his Glaceon, not Glaceon, you know who you are, for an Alolan Sandslash, bringing back his Gothitelle, Honchkrow, Persian, and Palisand, all at level 80. Also bringing back his Electric Terra type Raichu at level 81. Miss Dendra, the phys ed teacher, she requires all her classes be taken and for anyone, parenthetical me, to teach her how to make a Slammin' Sammy. We do that, everyone vomits only marginally, and we battle. Dendra drops her Phalanx for Hitmontop, keeping her Tauros, Wet Tauros, Metacham, and Hawlucha all at level 80, and keeping her Fighting Terra-type ace Hariyama at level 81. Mr. Hassel and his paraprofessional Professor Gibble also require us to pay attention in class, but I'm staring at this, so it's got my full attention, man. Finishing all of his conversations, which I cannot remember even a little bit about what they are right now. Hassel kind of uses his Ace Academy Tournament team, which kind of uses his Elite Four team. That's all to say he drops his Flapple for an Archaludon, keeping his Noivern, Haxorus, Dragalge, and Dragonite at level 82. bringing back his Dragon Terra Baxcalibur at level 83. Mr. Sarguaro and his handsome muscles give literally two shits if you show up to class, but he gets bullied around school into not liking sweets, so we give him a sweet Herba Mystica and we're good to go. He drops his Frostlass for an Alcremie, keeping his Pachirisu, Alomomola, Vespiquen, and Gudra at level 80, bringing back his Fairy Terra Hatterene at level 81. Nurse Miriam just requires talking to her a bunch, which makes her go back and get her teaching degree. She drops her Sawsbuck for a Meganium, bringing back Hypno, Pincurchin, Glalie, and Electros all at level 80, as well as her ace, Poison Terra Toxapex at level 81. And fucking Baneful Bunker. Ugh. And finally, Granddad number 1, Director Clivell, uses the exact same team as he did at the end of the last video. Oranguru, Obama's Nose, Poltegeist, Gyarados, Houndoom, all just leveled up to level 80, except for the cat that we didn't pick, Grass Terra type Masquerada, now at level 81. The battles and summoning of the quote special coaches took a lot of time, but overwhelmingly the most time spent was taking those goddamn classes. I learned nothing, retained even nothinger, but you bet your sweet Bippy, me and Clive are fucking besties now. There are still 5 battles we need to deal with, but none of those are unlocked. And the only way to unlock those is to beat the post game of Mochi Madness? Mundanity? Mayonnaise. So basically this little purple guy's all like, hey, I'm the bad dude that made those other dudes really bad, and now I'm brainwashing your friends. We battle a bunch, get a new mythical that probably tastes great, and only after that can we invite Nimona, Penny, and Arvin to the club room. And then Carmine and Kieran start hanging out too, I guess. I guess we're all friends again. Cool. Nimona! Jesus Christ, I haven't battled you in so long. How are you? I mean, there was that one time like 20 minutes ago, but still. Nimona's team massively changes from the last time I showed a battle with her. She drops her Dunsparce, Orthworm, and the non-poison type Gudra, bringing on Komodo, Greninja, and Dusknoir. Lycanroc and Pawmot return, all at level 86, and for me, her now Ghost Terra-type Skeledirge is at level 87. Arvin and Penny use the exact same teams you think they do. Arvin's Greedent, Anatomy Lesson, Scovillain, Toadscruel, and Garganical are back all at level 82, and his Dark Terra-type Mobostiff returns at level 83. Penny's Eevee team is still an Eevee team. What? Oh, do I really need to fucking talk about it? Alright, man, her Umbreon copy wait, I already made that joke. Jolteon, Flareon, and Leafeon are all level 84, and her Fairy Terra type Sylveon is level 85. And even at a significantly higher level, it's still a pretty easy fight. You know, I never actually read that copy pasta. I've only ever parroted the joke. Maybe I should educate myself. No! Don't do that! We are moving on. Finally, we are on the last 2 fights. Kind of. Kieran and Carmine, both double battles. A nice refresh from the last 20 battles. Kieran's team is exactly the same as it was during the champion battle for the end of the Indigo Disc storyline, all down to the same items. But interestingly, to no one but me, on Bulbapedia, the website I use to pretty much get all these images and yada yada yada, the positions are swapped around from the previous battle to this one for Politoed and Dragonite and for Grimmsnarl and Porygon. Incineroar, nope, holy shit. Alright, keep it together, we're really close. Incineroar and the previously named Pokemon are all level 86, and Kieran's Fighting Terra type Hydrapple returns at level 87. Carmine keeps her previous team of Mightyena, Toucanon, and Scrafty. And finally brings back her Morpeko holding a focus sash and Ninetales from the last time we battled her back in Kitakami. And her Grass Terran Sinischa is also back carrying its Akaberry. But wait, there's more, just a little bit more. There's a super secret last dude who is not so secret after all. After you register 10 clubroom trades, you can also battle him. His team is really stacked. A Zebstrika holding an air balloon, a Mandibuzz with a citrus berry, a Gothitelle holding a Chesto berry, all at level 86. He then has the 3 Unovan starters, all at level 87. Embor with a life orb, Samurott holding an assault vest, and a Rock Terra Superior with leftovers. Thematic Masterstroke since the Blueberry Academy is in the Unova region. You also get a shiny Blitzel. This is Zebstrika's baby. Probably. Oh, the trauma. And that's about it. The most time spent in the footage collecting aspect of this video was definitely spent in the last section, the clubroom. Between the Blueberry Academy points, the subquests for the teachers, having to call the coaches multiple times, and all that before we actually were able to get to the battles. Oh yeah, and the entire after game with the sentient mind-controlling Pechaberry. A mystery gift is, you download it with a mystery gift, and I couldn't even initially download it because my internet decided to shit the bed while I was trying to get it. Thanks, big name ISP. All in all, this incredibly involved tirade gained us another 1,293,440 Pokédollars. And I bet you also noticed the battles going on in the backdrop too. There's a reason for that. So technically, upon beating Terapagos, all the teachers adopt a new, higher level team, and the champions do as well. Some of their teams change significantly with new Pokemon, others just gain levels. But either way, they are technically new battles, so I had to subject myself to that one more time for the good of the people. But I wasn't about to make you watch all of the same battles again, since they are quite literally the same battles as they were in the clubroom rematches. A run-through of all the unique trainers now leveled up due to post-game DLCs and whatever the fuck else we've done gives us another 1,474,520 Poké-Dollars. Meaning, for every single battle throughout Kitakami, the Blueberry Academy, the clubroom nonsense, and the matches with the Ace Academy tournaments, we are 5,023,200 Poké-Dollars richer. Combine that with the havoc that we wrought in Paldea, we are looking at 8,164,825 Poké-Dollars, which is surprisingly very close to how much we made just picking shit up off the ground, which uses way less brain power. And that's going to be it for me this time, everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching me pull my hair out. I'm going to go turn my brain off for a while, and I'm lax.